So I did something a few weeks ago that honestly kind of changed my mornings. I stopped touching my inbox. Not because I stopped getting emails, I get way too many of them, but because I built something that handles it for me. Every email that comes in, it reads it, figures it out if it's urgent or not, labels it, and then writes a draft reply, all automatically. By the time I open my laptop, the sorting is already done and the replies are already sitting there waiting for me. I built it in make.com, no code, took me maybe about 20 minutes. And today, I'm going to show you exactly how to build the same thing, step by step. If you have a Gmail account, you can have this running by the end of this video. Three things you need to have ready before we start. A make.com account, it's free, I'll link it in the description. A Gmail account, you probably already have one, and we're going to connect it to Make inside the build. It's literally just clicking allow on Google screen, nothing complicated. That's it. Let's build it.
So this is make.com. This is where we're going to build our email agent today. Make is a visual automation platform. Basically, it lets you connect different apps together and make them talk to each other without writing any code. Everything you build in here is called a scenario. That's just Make's word for a workflow or an automation. Now let's start creating it. Okay, so now I'm going to hit create new scenario, and this blank canvas is what we're working with. Each block we add is called a module, and modules connect to each other and pass information along like a chain. The first module is always the trigger. That's what starts the whole thing and tells Make to wake up and run. So I'm clicking the plus, searching for Gmail, selecting watch emails. This is our trigger. What this means is every single time a new email lands in my inbox, Make is going to detect it and automatically kick off the whole workflow. That's what starts everything. Okay, so the first thing it's going to ask for is a connection. So basically permission to access my Gmail account. I'm going to click add to create a new connection. It's going to open a Google sign-in screen. Sign into whichever Gmail account you want the agent to watch. The Google is going to ask you what permissions to give to Make. Just select all and click continue. This is completely safe. You're just giving Make permission to read and manage your email so it can run the automations. And just like that, our Gmail is connected. You can see my account is now showing here. Make never stores your emails. It just reads them in the moment to pass the information along into the next module. Okay, so now let me walk you through all these settings in this panel so you know exactly what everything means. So here we have filter. Leave this one on simple filter. We're just watching for basic email conditions, nothing complicated. Then we have folder. This is set to inbox, which is exactly what we want. We only want to watch emails coming into the inbox, not drafts or sent emails. And then we have label. Leave this completely empty. We want to watch all incoming emails and let the AI decide what to do with them. So we don't want to filter them by label. Then we have criteria. Leave this on all messages. Same idea exactly. Every email goes through the agent. Mark email message as read when fetched. So we can keep this as a no or yes. It's honestly up to you. But for me, I'm going to keep this on no. So I don't want Make to automatically marking things as read before I've had a chance to look at them. But again, it's completely up to you. And we have limit. This is set to 10 by default. You can change this to 1, which I rather do. This means every time the scenario runs, it processes one email at a time, which keep things clean and easy to track. Once we set this up, we hit save. Okay, so now we're going to add the second module, which is going to be the brain of the whole agent. Searching for OpenAI GPT and selecting create a completion. This is the module that's going to read each email and decide what to do with it. Just like Gmail, it's asking us to create a connection as well. This is how Make connects to OpenAI. We need to give it an API key so that these two platforms can talk to each other. So this pop-up opens up. Let me walk you through each. So we have connection name. You can leave this as my OpenAI connection or rename it to whatever you want. This is just a label so you can recognize it later if you have multiple connections. Okay, this is an API key. This is the important one. This is where we paste the secret key from OpenAI. We're going to get that right now. So don't close the window. You can just click OpenAI account API keys, which is going to redirect you to the page that we're going to get the API key from. So now if you already have a ChatGPT account, you can use the same email and password to log in here. It's the same account, just a different part of the OpenAI platform. And if you don't have an account yet, you can just hit sign up and create one. It's free and takes about a minute. Okay, I'm signing in with my own account now. Once you're in, you land on the API keys page. Or you might need to click API keys from the left menu if it doesn't take you there automatically. Now we click create new secret key. We can give it a name. I'm gonna call mine my email agent so I know exactly what's it for. So this pop-up has a few options. Let me walk you through them so you know exactly what they are. We have project. Click this drop down and select default project. OpenAI organizes API keys by project. So the default project is fine for what we're building. You'd only create separate projects if you were managing multiple different applications. We have permissions. Leave this on all. This gives the key full access to use the OpenAI API. The restricted and read only would limit what it would do, and we don't want that. Okay, and now hit create secret key. And here is your key, copied right now. This is the only time OpenAI will ever show you this one. So once you close this window, it's gone and you'll have to create a new one. Okay, once you have this, once you copy it, now go back to Make tab and paste it into the API key field. And just like that, our OpenAI connection is created. Make is now linked to OpenAI and ready to send and receive information. Now, the module setting panel opens up. Let me walk you through each field. We have connection. That's the one we just set up. Good to go. Here we have method. This is asking what type of request we want to make to OpenAI. You can see there are two options. Okay, so we have create a chat completion. This is the one we want. This is the modern way of talking to GPT models. It works like a conversation. You give it a system prompt, which is the instruction, and user message, which is the actual content you want it to process. This is how ChatGPT itself works under the hood. And then we have create a prompt completion legacy. This is the old way. OpenAI has basically moved away from this method, so we don't need to use it. So we're leaving it on create a chat completion. Next, we have model. This is where we choose which GPT model we want to use as the brain of our agent. Click the drop down and you'll see a list of options. I'm going to use GPT-4 Mini. And why is that it's fast, it's cheap, and for reading emails and writing short replies, it's more than capable enough. And then we have the output tokens. Tokens are basically how OpenAI measures the length of text. This field controls the maximum length of GPT's response. So right now it's set to 2048 by default, which is way more than we need. I'm going to change this to 500, and that's more than enough for our labeling and a few sentences of reply. Keeping it low means lower cost per run, which matters when this is running automatically on every email you get. Now here we have the message section. This is where we actually tell GPT what to do. Think of this like a conversation. You're setting up the back and forth between you and the AI. Click add message and it opens up. So each message has a role. This tells GPT who is speaking. If you open the role dropdown, you'll see three options: user, assistant, and system. System is the instruction. This is where you tell GPT who it is and what its job is. Think of it like the briefing you give an employee before they start work. It sets the rules and the behavior for everything that follows. User is the actual content. This is the email we're feeding in. In a real ChatGPT conversation, user is you typing the message. Assistant is GPT's response. You'd use this if you want to give GPT an example of how it should reply. We don't need that for this build. So we need two messages. The first one is going to be system, our prompt and instructions, and the second one is going to be user, the actual email content. Let's set up the first one, change the role to system. Now in text content, this is where we paste our prompt. And instead of writing it ourselves from scratch, I'm going to do something I always recommend. I'm going to ask ChatGPT to write it for me. I'm opening ChatGPT and asking it to write me a prompt for this exact use case. And there's our prompt. This is way more detailed and well structured than most people would write themselves. And it took about 10 seconds. Copy it, back in Make, paste it into the text content field of the system message. Done. Now we need a second message for the actual email. Click Add Message again. This one is role for the user. And in text content, this is where we map the actual email content from the Gmail trigger. Click inside the field and you'll see a panel appear. Click that to map the data from the previous module. We're going to map in two things, the email subject and the email body. So I'll type subject and then select the subject field from the Gmail module. Then on a new line, I'll type body and map in the text content from Gmail. So this is how Make passes information between modules. Those little red bubbles you see are live data from the Gmail trigger. Every time a new email comes in, these fields automatically fill with that email's actual content. Now image input type and image detail, leave both of these empty. Those are only used if you're sending image to GPT, which we're not doing that here. Now we hit save. Okay, so after the GPT module, now we need to add a router. I'm clicking the plus after the OpenAI module and searching for router. So what is a router and why do we need it? Remember, GPT is going to respond with either urgent, normal, or spam. The router is basically an if-then switch. It looks at what GPT said and sends the workflow down a different path depending on the answer. So if GPT said urgent, it goes that way, if normal, that way, and if spam, the other way. We need this because we want to do different things with each type of email. Urgent emails get one label, normal emails get another, and spam gets another. Without the router, everything would go down the same path, and we'd have no way to sort them differently, Think of it like a traffic roundabout. Emails coming from one direction, and the router decides which exit they take based on what GPT decided. So now you can see that the canvas has split it into multiple paths coming out of the router. Each path is going to handle a different category. Now let's set up the filters on each one. To tell each path what condition to look for, I need to click the filter icon on each route. This is the little icon that sits on the line between the router and where the next module will go. I'm clicking it on the first path. This filter is basically asking what condition needs to be true for an email to go down this path. We're going to set it up like this. The field we're looking at is the text coming back from the OpenAI module. That's the response GPT gave us. The condition is contains, and the value is the word urgent in all caps, exactly how we told GPT to output it in our prompt. So this path will only activate when GPT's response contains the word urgent. Simple. I'm going to label this route urgent so it's easy to identify on the canvas. Hit OK. And now for the second path, same process. Click the filter icon, set the condition to contains, value is normal, label it normal, and hit OK. The third path contains spam, label it spam, OK. So now we have three clearly defined paths. Urgent emails go this way, normal emails go this path, and spam emails go here. Now we need to add modules on each path to actually do something with the emails. On the urgent path, I'm clicking the plus and adding a Gmail module, selecting add a label to an email. Now why are we doing this? This is what actually sorts your inbox automatically. Instead of you manually dragging emails into folders, the agent is going to do it for you based on what the GPT decided. Every urgent email gets the urgent label applied automatically the moment it arrives. In the settings, I need to connect this to the original email. So I'm mapping the message ID from the Gmail trigger. That little red bubble right here, that tells make which specific email to apply the label to. Then in the label field, I'm selecting urgent. If you haven't created this label in Gmail yet, pause here, go to your Gmail settings, create 3 labels called urgent, normal, and spam, and then come back. Okay, now hit save. Now I'm doing the exact same thing on normal path, click plus, Gmail, add a label, mapping the message ID, select normal label, and save. And same goes for the spam path. Add a label, email ID, spam label, and save. So now every email automatically gets sorted into the right folder. No more manually going through your inbox trying to figure out what needs your attention. This agent handles that for you. Okay, now the last module on each path. Create a draft. This is the part where the agent actually writes the reply for you. So what does this do exactly? It takes the reply that GPT wrote for this email and save it as a Gmail draft in the same thread as the original email, addressed back to whoever sent it. So when you open any email in your inbox, there's already a reply sitting there waiting for you. You read it, maybe change a word or two, and hit send. That's it. The writing is already done for you. Now let me walk you through the settings here. We have connection. Same Gmail connection we set up at the start, already selected. 2, this is who we're replying to. I'm going to map in the from field from the Gmail trigger. That's the email address of whoever sent the original email. Click the field and select from the Gmail module. Now we have subject. I'm mapping in the subject from the Gmail trigger as well. This keeps the reply in the same email thread. Now we have the message content. This is the actual reply text. This is where we map in what GPT wrote for us. Click the field and select the content or message field from the OpenAI module. That's the reply GPT already generated for us. Okay, so before we move on, I want to show you something. If you look at the output from the OpenAI module right here, you can see the result is returning everything together in one block. The category urgent and the reply all in one field. The problem with this is that when we go to create our draft email, we don't want the word category urgent showing up at the top of the reply. We only want the actual reply text. So we need to separate these into 2 clean fields. And the way we're going to do that is by adding a JSON module. I'm going to add a module between the OpenAI and the router, search for JSON, and we can select parse JSON. Now this opens up the data structure panel. A data structure is basically just telling Make what fields to expect in the data coming in and what to name them so we can reference them later. I'm going to create a data structure with 2 fields. Click Create a Data Structure, give it a name. I'll call it GPT email output. First field, label. This is going to hold the category, whether it's urgent, normal, or spam. And the second field, we're going to name it reply. This is going to hold just the reply text that GPT wrote for us. Now both fields are text, hit save. Now in the JSON string field, I'm mapping in the result from the OpenAI module. That's the raw output GPT gave us. Hit save. Okay, now when I go back to my Gmail module for the text, okay, now here we can see that it got separated and now we can choose the reply. And we have the thread ID. This is important. Mapping the thread ID from the Gmail trigger. This makes sure the draft appears inside the correct email thread, not as a new separate email. Okay, now we hit save. Repeat this exact same setup on the normal path and the spam path. Normal path, same thing, create a draft, mapping to, subject, message content, thread ID, and save. Spam path, same. And we hit save. And that's the entire build done. This is our complete email agent. Gmail watches the inbox, sends each email to GPT, GPT labels it and writes a reply, the router sends it down the right path, the label gets applied, and the draft gets saved, all automatically. Now let's test it. So I'm going to open Gmail and send myself a test email, something that should be flagged as urgent. And send. Now I'm going back to make and hitting run once. Now watch what happens. You can see each module lighting up as it runs. The Gmail trigger fired and grabbed the email, sent it to OpenAI, goes through GPT module, the router sent it down the urgent path, the label was applied, and the draft was created. All of that happened in about 10 seconds. Now let's go check our Gmail. And there it is. The email is sitting in the urgent folder, labeled automatically. There's already a draft reply here. GPT wrote this for us. I didn't touch anything. It's addressed correctly, the subject line is right, and the reply is already written and ready to send. That is the agent working. From the moment the email arrived to draft being ready. Last step is turning the scenario on. You see this toggle at the bottom left of the canvas? Right now it's off, which means it only runs when we manually hit run once. I'm going to turn it on. Now the scenario is active. Every 15 minutes, Make is automatically going to check your inbox for new emails and run them throughout the day. You don't have to do anything, it just runs in the background while you focus on everything else. And that's it. That's the complete email agent. Built in Make.com, no code, running automatically. Okay, so now that you've seen the whole build, let me tell you what I actually think about this after using it for a few weeks. The categorization is really good. Like 90% of the time, it gets it right. Sometimes it reflects something as urgent that it isn't, but honestly, I'd rather it overflag than miss something important. The draft replies are solid. They're not perfect, sometimes they're a little generic, but hey, they give me a starting point, and that's honestly all I need. I read it, change a line or two, and send it. It saves me probably 30 to 40 minutes a day just on that alone. Now, if you want to take this further, a few things I would add. First, connect it to Slack if you have a Slack account. Every time an urgent email comes in, you get a notification straight up to your phone, super useful. Second, connect it to your CRM. So if an email comes from a client or a lead, it automatically logs the conversation. Saves a huge amount of manual data entry. That's what we do at Zaptron. And last, customize the prompt to sound like you. Give it your name, your job title, the way you like to communicate. The more context you give it, the more the replies actually sound like you wrote them. But hey, even without any of that, what we just built today is genuinely useful. Like I use this every single day. All right, if you built this, I want to know about it. Drop a comment below and tell me how it went, what you changed, and what you would add to it. I read every single comment. And if you ran into any issues during the build, drop that below because chances are someone else had the same problem, and between us, we can figure it out. Now, here's what's coming next, and I'm genuinely excited about this one. I'm building an AI voice agent that answers phone calls. You call it, the AI picks up, it answers questions, handles objections, book appointments 24 hours a day, never takes a break, never has a bad day, and never misses a call. We're going to build it with no code using a tool called Vapi, and I'm going to walk you through the whole thing. Subscribe so you don't miss it, and I'll see you in the next video.